So I'm usually a pretty big wuss when it comes to horror movies, but I know there's a lot of great films in this genre, so I'm trying to be brave and branch out and watch some of them. So today I'm watching the 1963 film The Haunting. I'm assuming it's going to be about a haunting of some kind, maybe a haunted house, maybe a ghost story, something like that. It's a pretty self-explanatory title, I feel like. I don't know what else to guess off that title. One-word titles are kind of hard to predict what the movie will be about because it's literally one word. I'm very curious to see, considering the time it came out, what practical effects were used. I love practical effects, and anytime those are incorporated, so I'm very curious to see if there'll be any. Usually in older horror movies, it's more subtle, like lights and shadows and stuff like that, which I love, so I'm very excited to watch this. I don't know the director, the cast, anything like that. I don't particularly like slasher movies, so I hope this is more, like I said, like a ghost story, maybe something, paranormal, something like that. But thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for movies you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content.
Hill House had stood for 90 years and might stand for 90 more.
The Haunting of Hill House?
Steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House. And whatever walked there, walked alone.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I have seen the Netflix series, The Haunting of Hill House, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm curious if this is related. Oh, a spooky title! Yeah, let me know in the comments how they did that. I'm assuming it would have been all practical given the time. I don't recognize any of the cast, and this like black and white voiceover is kind of reminding me a little bit of House on Haunted Hill as well, with Vincent Price. Okay, yeah, it's based on the novel. I haven't read the novel, but I'm very excited. I really liked the Netflix version. I don't know how true that version was to the novel, but I'm very excited to see this.
For no apparent reason, the horses bolted, crashing her carriage against a big tree.
And again, like showing stuff off camera. I don't know what the budget for this was. Yeah, I wasn't expecting a ton of blood or gore or anything like that given the time this came out, but yeah, and like we just see like the hand and stuff happening off camera, which I'm fine with, and I wasn't expecting black and white either. Oh, that was such a cool shot to have like the camera acting falling down the stairs.
She fell, although I have my suspicions.
Body count is adding up already. Oh, I love the cinematography. I'm obsessed with this so much. This is going to be so good.
The old lady died calling for help in the nursery upstairs, while a companion fooled around with a farmhand on the veranda.
Oh my, the farmhand. Oh, this is just the house is, yeah, the interesting concept of the house being born bad. However much faith you want to put into that.
Though some say that the house was not empty, and never has been since the night old Miss Abby died.
What's she doing with that rope on the platter?
Eventually drove the companion mad.
Yep, that's what I was afraid of.
For more than a few days. The dead are not quiet in Hill House.
I don't believe.
And that's cool to have the narrator become the interviewer now and interview people who are taking it over.
You loose floorboards. And maybe, I only say maybe, the key to another world?
I really love this approach, having him go in there, trying to conduct these investigations, see what's going on. And I recognize some of these names as characters in the Netflix version, Theodora and Luke as well.
All the same address as my sister's. I live with her.
Front row, left of the far pillar.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know why her family was being so against her taking the car out. Anyway, yeah, I'm very curious to see where this is gonna go now.
I hope this is what I've been waiting for all my life.
And that's interesting that each character gets its own voiceover. We usually don't get to hear the thoughts of all the characters.
Taken a step.
And maybe that's because it's based on a book as well. In the book, you would have, you know, more in-depth, like, insight into their thoughts.
You mean that there's no one in the house?
No one you'd want to see.
What does that mean? I'm curious if this set is real. Let me know in the comments if like this. Oh, he's like, yeah, bye, see you later. If this, like the exterior of the house was real, or if this house exists in real life. Yeah, such a cool set. It just adds like the, you know, setting is become this whole new character with this building. Obviously, like this house is, you know, part of.
Staring at me.
Does she get like visions or something? Why does she keep blinking like that?
Waiting.
Yeah, I know everybody has some experience with the supernatural, so I'm curious to see if we'll learn more about their backstories. Such a great set, and yeah, just this wide pan of everything and all the details, and yeah, I'm very excited.
In the night. In the dark.
I feel like that's a warning of some kind. Oh, that smile was menacing. Oh my gosh. She's like, well, I won't be here, so if something happens, you're on your own.
So, Mrs. Dudley.
No one lives any nearer than town. No one will come any nearer than that.
She's got her script memorized well. Oh my gosh.
You know I brought new clothes.
You wear your thoughts on your sleeve.
Anyway, that's better than my heart.
Yeah, the name thing was pretty obvious to guess. Like, it would be a common nickname, sure. But the fact that she has new things, okay. I mean, it might be safe to assume someone is going on, I don't think this is a trip, but like an adventure, you would bring new things, sure. But yeah, something suspicious.
What? The house. It's alive.
Yeah, she must have some kind of like supernatural connection to something. Yeah, like even her voiceover and stuff. And she clearly has like these senses. Such a creepy concept that the house is alive, and yeah, so spooky.
Built his house to suit his mind. For instance, all the doors are hung slightly off-center.
That would drive me absolutely nuts.
Now watch this.
Ghosts don't work on cue. Yeah, he's like, okay, I set myself up here. And such like elaborate sets, and I love that we're learning more about the backstory of the house as well.
No.
So much the better. You should be innocent and receptive.
I really don't like this tone. It's getting super weird and creepy and ugh, God. But a great horror movie so far.
Sightseers and the police. In fact, it's the only case ever officially recorded by the police.
It never happened.
Or she wants it never to happen. I'm glad we're learning kind of why they were brought here too. It's so interesting.
Haunted. There's that word haunted again. Makes me expect to find a disembodied hand in the source. Nobody knows even why.
He keeps these very like ominous sayings, and it's creepy.
That was the neighbors. They threw the rocks. Mother says they were always against us because she wouldn't mix with them. Mother says...
Is she talking to her mother now? Mother that is passed away?
I'm more tired than I thought. My mother died 2 months ago.
You weren't sorry when it happened.
Wow, wow, wow. Bold statements. Okay.
The Montousi Bushmen thought so. But they're extinct.
You see? You haven't the ghost of a chance.
I'm really enjoying it so far. It's super creepy and spooky, and I would definitely add it into like my October Halloween rewatch.
I'm trying to prepare you. I think there's something going on in this house, or I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, it's interesting how Luke is a skeptic, as the other two have obviously have experiences, but Luke is not buying any of this.
Oh, I just thought of something. Nobody locked the front door.
Won't make any difference.
Yeah, I don't think it's what's outside that you need to worry about. It's what's inside the house that you need to worry about.
Like drowning, I guess.
And there's been some really cool camera angles, like when we had that shot of the three of them on the stairs from a low angle and then switched to the high angle. And these like very direct, like symmetrical shots like above them on a bed.
Against what, Eleanor? Against what?
And I love the slow dissolves when we have, you know, one image slowly over another one. Usually in more modern movies, it's quick and you don't see that as much, but I love it in the older movies when you just, like, it adds just another layer to the story.
Knocking on the walls. Well, something is. Anyway, it's only a noise. It's tremors.
Yeah, I think that's more than a noise. This, like, very loud, like a marching band almost, like this, like, pounding sound. Yeah. I'd be getting the heck out of there real fast. Yeah, and if they can both hear it, yeah, something's up. And we haven't had a ton of music throughout the film either. It's been mostly just like the quiet, empty space, which makes it even more terrifying. Oh my god, that's so creepy. What would that be? Oh my god.
No. In a minute, I'll go out in the hall and call them. Are you all right?
Yep, and there it is again. Oh my god. And yeah, the tilted camera angle. I'm trying to guess what that sound would be, and there's nothing. It's just such a very bizarre sound. Okay. It's like Medusa doorknob. Such a cool, like, POV as we tilt up the door and, like, go over the hinges and just, like, oh my god, what is it? Oh, that's much worse. That's like maniacal laugh. Oh my god, no.
Where have you two been?
What's the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Ha 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 ha.
Chasing a dog. At least we assumed it was a dog. We followed it outside.
Maybe that's what was making the sounds? I don't know. That seems too convenient, yeah.
Outside. And you two are bottled up inside. Wouldn't you say that something somehow is trying to separate us?
Yeah, that would make sense. Oh my god, yeah, she's at the house once, Nell.
Sleep on my left side.
Why on the left side?
I read someplace it wears the heart out quicker.
And that's what she wants to do? Oh, yeah, that's sad.
You've fallen under the spell of the house.
Maybe it isn't just the house.
Then what else?
Oh, my.
Is there something?
You mean you haven't seen it? Well, the show's just getting good. Come on.
And I've noticed the use of, like, mirrors in quite a few scenes. Like, they're always standing by a mirror, and this, like, huge credenza has this beautiful mirror above it that they're always, like, somehow makes its way into the frame. Oh my gosh, what does this say?
Chalk.
Oh gosh. Oh no, 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 no. Get out. Get out now, man. That's terrifying.
Well, it's one way to attract attention, isn't it?
You think I like the idea I'm the center of attention?
Why are you all done up in that new hairstyle?
Oh, I don't like this. Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh no.
You wouldn't leave me behind, would you?
No one will leave you behind.
And it's interesting to have these two characters as our main, you know, protagonists. Very different personalities, very different characters. Eleanor is obviously much more reserved and shy and anxious. Theo is very confident.
Will you dance with me?
I believe he's going to accept.
Theo definitely has a dark sense of humor, that's for sure. And I feel bad that they're picking on Eleanor.
Awful.
Smells sweet to me, honey. At 25 cents a book, I should do all right with this room, huh?
Is that the room the companion hung herself in? The staircase looked very similar.
That's where the companion hanged herself.
Would have been easier to jump.
Yeah, I thought so. The staircase, we had that shot of her carrying up her, like, platter of rope. Yeah. It's a very distinct staircase.
Part. A whole line of beautiful-looking chorus girls dancing down these stairs. Can't you see it? Da 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 da.
This guy is playing with fire. Oh my god. I don't know, what kind of guy ruins a library? Come on.
Hanging on.
Oh my god. Oh, the quick zoom. Oh.
Did you hear me calling?
Oh my god. What was she doing?
I'm still furnishing it. Buying one thing at a time to make sure I get everything absolutely right.
Why is she lying to her? She doesn't have her own apartment. She wants to move into Hell House.
It's food for thought. Frozen food.
Yeah, I'm very curious how they had that effect of, like, the breath coming out, if it genuinely was that cold in there. Very interesting.
Good night.
Well, why be mad at me? I don't think you killed your mother.
Why would you bring that up? Why would you say that?
Go to sleep.
Good night, Nellie, my Nell.
Did she kill her mother? Maybe that's why her mom's still sticking around haunting her. She's not denying it. She's just looking worried now. And she's reading the book. Did she go into Abigail's room somehow? And I love the use of, like, the light and the shadow in older movies as well. Obviously with it being black and white as well, but still so cool and just makes it so spooky.
For God's sake, don't scream.
And the wall even looks like it has a face. Like, it looks like there's eyes and a mouth. Oh my god, so creepy. How long are they supposed to stay in the house? Like, oh man, I'd be getting out of there so fast. Now it's crying sounds? What is going on? I don't think it's Theo holding her hand.
Yell, I will yell. Stop it!
Why is she sleeping on the couch? Not her bed.
What? No, what?
Yeah. Who was holding her hand? So creepy.
Whose hand was I holding?
Definitely wasn't Theo. Oh my god.
They couldn't explain it, so they refused to admit it existed.
Life is still full of the preternatural.
Yeah, and that's interesting how he's trying to prove supernatural exists and, like, his backstory.
It was harmless, like a joke that doesn't come out.
But the child...
There was no child, remember? Just a voice.
Oh, worse.
He's like, what are you so worried about? Just these things are all in your imagination.
Until we know how it works, we'll continue to carry around this unnecessary burden of fear.
Yeah, he's like, people are afraid of what they don't understand, and you don't understand the supernatural, so you're naturally afraid of it.
Voices. Everything. Every cursed bit of the haunting.
Hey, that's the name of the movie.
My back hurt and my hands. Wasn't fair. We could have afforded a laundress.
She blames herself, obviously.
She called me, and I never answered.
Isn't that what happened to Abigail as well? She, like, knocked on the wall, and the companion didn't go.
There's a cold spot in this room, too, is there?
No, there isn't.
I think she has a crush on John and wants to stay here forever.
Lust. Daughter, preserve thyself.
Oh my god, what is this? These are graphic. What?
1873.
But that's today.
Not tomorrow, and 90 years later.
Some nursery book, huh?
Still, yeah, that's super creepy. Why would he give that to his kid? What?
Anywhere, I'm telling you to your face, I hope you spend eternity in that foul, rotten book and never stop burning for a minute.
How do you really feel? Oh my god.
Unnatural things. Nature's mistakes, they're called. You, for instance.
Oh, that's fighting words. Oh no.
Who are you?
Grace Markway. Didn't John tell you he's married?
Nope. Definitely left that out. And there goes Eleanor's dreams.
No secret chambers in Hill House. In fact, nothing romantic at all. It's a deadly, serious place.
He seems annoyed that she's there, whether it's to be put her in danger. Oh, no.
The nursery it is.
Oh, no.
Expressions, I gather that is the dreaded nursery.
Yeah, and the doors are wide open.
The way it looks.
Now I know who your fiend of Hill House is. The interior...
Suffer little children? Is that what it says on that banister? Well, that's upsetting. Oh my god.
Lois, at least leave the door open, huh?
Don't worry. I brought a special ghost trap with me.
Yeah, she's obviously a huge skeptic and is like, I don't know why I'm making such a big deal about this. Everything's gonna be fine. And he's like, the last thing I want to worry about is you now. Oh, the split diopter shot.
Stay. Go away, Eleanor. Go away. We don't want you anymore. You can't stay.
She definitely struggles with her self-worth and confidence. And then no music just adds to it. Extra spooky element.
Grace.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's the same sounds I heard the other night, too. It's like banging sound.
I'm so cold. It's going to start everything all over again.
Terrifying, terrifying. Yeah, she's like, it's not over, it's just beginning. So cool. I love the way they're using the light and the shadow, yeah, and having just the characters and the light. Oh, and there goes the doorknob moving on its own. Oh, gosh. What? How could the... What? It's like pushing into the wood? What? Oh my god, what is that? Yep. What would make the wood bend like that? Oh my god. Terrifying. Terrifying. Such cool cinematography as well.
Whatever it wants of me, it can have.
Yeah, she's like, okay, I give in. Like, it's just gonna keep doing these things night after night. Like, I'll finally, whatever it is, like, fine, I'll surrender. Whoa, such a cool shot. It should make it look like the house is moving almost, and these, like, wind wishing sounds in the background. Like, oh god, oh god. I love the above angle shots. So creepy and so cool. Yes, the house wants you.
Throwing itself.
Oh god. Such creepy sound effects as well. Like, it's not like a typical scream or anything. We did hear like those laughing sounds, but the wind. Oh god.
I'm coming apart a little at a time. A little at a time.
Oh, that's such a cool shot. To have her separated from the group like that.
Inch by inch into this house.
I had to have them total darkness, her the only thing in light, you know, slowly walking towards camera. So creepy.
You and I, Hugh Crane. You and I. You and I.
Now she's talking to the statue. I'm wondering if the mirrors are there to show that they're not ghosts. Is it a ghost would not show up in the mirror? I don't know. Yeah, very curious. Or yeah, like if Eleanor said this is all in her memory or all in her imagination and no one else is actually in the house.
I want to stay here. I want to stay here always.
Why does she want to stay in such a house that like has such horrible, you know, things going on all the time?
Alone anymore.
Eleanor!
She's always like, yeah, had this connection ever since she got here. She's like, I'm gonna live here forever now. It's like, is she the companion? I don't know how that would work, but yeah, this is very similar to Weapon of the Companion. Oh god, this is gonna make me dizzy. Just the spinning of the staircase. Oh god. Oh, that's such a big staircase. She doesn't seem worried though. She's like, this is fine. It's just part of the house. And now, yeah, she's smiling and not terrified. Oh my gosh.
Because then they will know what I'm thinking.
Eleanor, turn around and come down.
She's just gonna ignore them? Like, come on, they're clearly right there.
Now be very, very careful.
Now come down.
Such a cool shot. Yeah, this tilted angle as well. She's like, forget you guys. Oh, that thing is so rickety. Oh my god, look, it's shaking, just him holding it. Oh my gosh.
Just turn around, Eleanor.
Keep hold of the rail and start down slowly.
She's made her mind up now. She's like, oh, no, I'm good with my choices. Such a creepy, oh my god. If you don't like heights, this is your nightmare. This thing's gonna collapse any second. Oh, cheese and rice. Now how are you gonna get down? That's the real question. Oh my god. Yeah, now we have music for this like staircase scene, which is mostly has been, you know, absent through other scenes. What is she doing? What? Why is she leaning over the railing like that? Oh my god, what? Oh my god, who is this? Oh my god, what? What? Was that Grace? What?
Well, it cost you just my key.
Sorry, honey, but you're not the type I keep.
I can't leave, I tell you.
Well, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, clearly something's not right and she needs to get out of here.
You see?
Please, Eleanor, there's no time to waste.
Please let me stay. I'm the only one who can call Mrs. Markway back.
I was wrong.
Call her back from what? And yeah, she's like, Grace took my place. Like, there's a big house.
I'm the one it really wants. Can't you feel it?
Like, what does that even mean? Oh, that's so creepy. Ah.
All right. I'm sure Grace is here and will find us, so don't worry.
She has my place. It isn't fair.
Goodbye.
What does that even mean? Your place in what? Like, is it because she's jealous and wants to be with, the doctor?
Who do I thank for a lovely time?
Was it a lovely time, though? You stayed in a haunted house.
Can't shut me out. Not if Hill House means me to stay.
No!
Eleanor!
What is she gonna do? She doesn't have a key to the gate. Oh my god. Hill House needs her to stay? I don't even want to know what that means.
No! Stop him, please! What are you doing? Let go!
Oh! Is that the same tree? She's gonna crash her car?
It's really, really, really happening to me.
And now she's just like accepting it now and closing her eyes. Oh my god. Oh, who was that? Oh my gosh. Poor Eleanor. She really wanted to stay. Oh my gosh.
She's dead.
Oh no.
Grace.
What is she doing out here?
Eleanor did it to herself. Looked to me anyway like she deliberately aimed the car at this tree.
Yeah, is it the same tree we saw in the first one? Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. It is, yeah.
I'll be all right. The house has what it wants.
For a while.
Yeah, she definitely wanted to say, and we saw, even towards the end as she kind of accepted her fate with this car accident.
The wood and stone of Hill House, and we who walk here walk alone.
So creepy. Yeah, and now Eleanor's become the narrator. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and the smoky text, the end. Da, 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 da. So that was my first time watching the 1963 film The Haunting. I was correct. It was obviously a ghost story, as the title, was pretty obvious with something called The Haunting. I was very excited when I found out that it was based off the Shirley Jackson novel, The Haunting of Hill House, or I think maybe the book was just called The Haunting. I have seen the Netflix series, The Haunting of Hill House, which I really enjoyed, and obviously this was a precursor to that. I definitely feel like Haunting on Hill House with Vincent Price was playing into this as well. I can't remember if they mentioned the book in that version, but very, very strong similarities in, theme and just setting everything up as well. A small cast, a short timeline, a really great example of if you just have a strong story, you don't need to have 37 different locations and 30 actors. You can keep it very short and simple and really effective in your storytelling, as 90% of the film takes place inside of Hill House. We have the few opening shots with Eleanor at home, and the exterior shots of Hill House as well, and a couple scenes of driving, and her leaving Boston, I think they said she was from, but that's it. Basically, once they get there, they're there, and the entire film takes place over 3 nights. We have the Doctor, Luke, Eleanor, and Theodora, and I definitely remember those names being character names in Haunting of Hill House. It definitely made me want to rewatch the Netflix series. I really enjoyed it. The more horror movies I watch, the more I enjoy the genre and the more I love to appreciate it. And Haunting of Hill House is one of the few horror series I actually really enjoyed. It was terrifying, but so well done at the same time. And I haven't read the book, so let me know in the comments how true this is to the book. I don't know if there's an earlier version of this. I know House on Haunted Hill, the Vincent Price one, came out in 1958, 1959, something like that. So, relatively around the same time as this. So I'm curious as to why they would have, if this was a remake, what that would have been like, or if it was just, strongly inspired. And if there's any other versions other than the Netflix one, let me know in the comments if you think I should watch them. I always try and watch the original ones first if I haven't seen any of them. So I really enjoyed this version. I wasn't expecting it to be in black and white, but I don't care. I think that's just adds another level of, spookiness to it. As obviously now you have, the element of shadow and this light and dark you can play with and just kind of add, these spooky features to the film, and not a ton of blood or gore or anything like that, which I wasn't really expecting there to be any, because given the time this came out, I didn't think there would be, and I don't mind that, having any death kind of appear off camera. We had the car accident or the wagon accident at the beginning, and we just see like the hand, and and it's implied obviously, and the wheel spinning, and and we know as the audience that she has passed away. Same with Eleanor's car accident scene at the end. We just see the doctor pick up her hand, and we kind of see her slump down in her seat, and it doesn't need to be this in your face blood and guts everywhere. I think it's implied that that's what happened, and again, considering the time, I wasn't really expecting that. And the practical effects that we had with just the doors opening and closing on their own, and doorknobs moving, and very cool, but just very like subtle spooky things. And the sound design was very interesting as well, as we have this wind whistling, and then Eleanor jokingly calls it like this cannonball sound going off, and this very loud booming sound. And it's just obviously very much alluded to that there's ghosts in the house. They never, encounter one specifically. There's no apparitions or anything like that. It's just very much implied that there are ghosts and it's a haunted house, and they don't say, oh, this ghost did this because of this, or this was, this sound came from this ghost. And I don't think we really needed to. It's a haunted house, and there are spirits around, and figuring out who was responsible for what sound maybe is explained in the book. Again, I don't know, but I don't think we really needed, all that extra detail. It was just a spooky movie, and, they're trying to set the scenes up very atmospheric and moody, that lots of things are happening that can't be explained, and maybe not explaining them, adds another element to it. They also discussed, supernatural things frequently, and having this doctor come in who's trying to prove that the supernatural exists, and he's got these people over. He's like, well, if I just say it happened, no one's going to believe me. I need other people to come in. And the fact that he specifically picked people who had experience with the supernatural, like Theodora had. Maybe she could read your mind, she could had this ability, this ESP, where she could, before you were going to say something, she knew what you were going to say. And obviously Eleanor and her mom, this poltergeist ghost situation, they were still very much connected. Whether Eleanor actually killed her mom or just feels really guilty about what happened because, she said her mom was calling for her, much like the companion that they had mentioned in the previous, residents of the house. And for a second I was like, okay, are we going to find out at the end that in fact Eleanor is the companion, or maybe just that their storylines were very similar, as the companion was there to look after Abigail as she got older and, just spent the rest of her life in the house by herself basically until she unalived herself, and that seemed to be very much the path that Eleanor was on. So maybe that's what they were trying to set it up, as this companion ghost, who I don't think we ever learned the name of, was the one most connected to Eleanor and was trying to add Eleanor to the house basically, and was like, stay, like you belong here, and not so much as possessing her, but just very strongly trying to encourage Eleanor to remain at the house, which ultimately is what happens. And I felt bad for Eleanor's character, the fact that she was excited to be at a haunted house. She's like, this is the first time something's ever happened to me. Like, such a sheltered and closed off, from the whole world, and spent her whole life dedicated to her mom, and now her mom's not there and she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know where to go, and she's been living on her sister's couch, and now she has an opportunity to go out and have, I don't want to say an adventure, but she calls it a vacation. And when that's now taken away, she has nowhere to go and decides to basically unalive herself and stay at Hill House. Whether the ghosts from Hill House were involved in that, we saw the car kind of lose control. You could go either way on that, whether, think Eleanor decided to do this herself or something supernatural was involved. And to have Eleanor take over as narrator of the film, at the end, definitely that narration reminded me of House on Haunted Hill, as well as we have, Vincent Price's narration at the beginning. And to have the interviewer, set this whole thing up, such a cool concept. I definitely wasn't expecting that. I thought, okay, it's going to be a ghost story, a haunted house, but I really love this element of this interviewer and how we have him as the voiceover narration, and then it becomes the character and we get to see him, as opposed to just being, this voice, that we never see. I'm very curious how they did the practical effects for the door that was like bending. I'm guessing the door wasn't actually made of wood or something else that could bend like that without breaking. And the scene where we have Abigail in bed, that direct overhead shot of her as she ages and just going from a young girl and, going through all the ages in life until she's old. And yeah, very interesting. And again, I'm glad they didn't go with like insane, over the top effects that would have made it look super dated. Everything looked great, and it didn't look like, okay, that takes me out of the film, because I can see how, that's not accurate. But I like that they kept it subtle with, the lights and the shadow and things moving. I am curious to find out if it was intentional why there were so many mirrors in the house. My guess is it was to show that they weren't ghosts the whole time, because I feel like that'd be a very easy assumption to make as an audience member, that these guys are ghosts the whole time. We're going to find out at the end that none of this is real. And I know mirrors and vampires obviously go together, but maybe you would expect a ghost not to really have a reflection as well. So yeah, that was interesting. And I wasn't expecting Grace to show up, because it was, like the third act of the film. We're getting towards the end of the movie, and then a new character is added. But obviously her arrival plays a huge part in what happens to Eleanor, as, she was at the trapdoor and she's like, I don't know how I got outside. And, having her duck behind that same tree that, the first lady of the house died into, as well as same with Eleanor, crashed their car into that same tree. Like, I feel like you could chalk it up to some of them being coincidences, but also a lot of similarities, and whether you believe in the supernatural or not. But yeah, I think just a really well done horror movie, super spooky, and I would definitely rewatch this again at, Halloween, October. And the body count from our main cast was only one. Like, obviously the beginning of the movie, we started off with a very big body count. I think we were at like 4 people had died before we had even started really, our character's journey. And to have, these 2 protagonists of Eleanor and Theodora, and just how opposite they are. And I definitely feel like Theodora had a bit of a crush on Eleanor and seemed very excited anytime the 2 of them got to spend time together, and have them be just so opposite. Like, Theodora seems like she's, very confident, sure of herself, and, says what's on her mind and doesn't really care how it affects people. And then, Eleanor being very self-conscious and having this running dialogue with her as well as she becomes, our main character, and we get to hear her thoughts, which doesn't happen very often in movies, so that was interesting. And how she's, second guessing herself, and these kind of 2 voices in her head, even though it's the same voice, but, going back and forth between, like, you're being silly, you're being ridiculous, just you're fine, and then, giving into the supernatural as well. And we see her mental health slowly decline, as longer she spends in the house, and she's dancing with, this statue at the end, and almost, falls off the balcony and doesn't know where she is. And, that scene where she climbs the staircase and just seems to be becoming more and more obsessed with the house, and whether it's because she has nowhere else to go or because the house is, wanting her there, as she puts it, because the house is alive. And we never find out who wrote the stuff on the wall, whether you want to say it was ghosts or one of the people there trying to mess with her. So yeah, very interesting. And I felt bad for her character because she just felt so lost and out of place and just never really got her confidence. Not a lot of music throughout the film, which was interesting. I find like the silence is more creepy because you're just left with this empty space and you're used to kind of this music in the background. I don't want to say it's comforting because it's usually scary music, but used to something being there, and then when that's not there, it's just like this void of space. And having music, towards the end of the film, I don't know if that was for budget reasons or if they just wanted to add in this element of you're left, with the quietness. I didn't recognize any of the actors' names, but I thought they all did an amazing job. Great performances, so well done, and just so convincing in their roles. And yeah, it was such an interesting film, and I loved the set as well with this, very, very elaborate house. That was the only time where I kind of wish it was in color, so you could see these beautiful sets and, all the details that were involved. But I'm not also heartbroken it was in black and white. I like, both color and black and white films, and having these great aerial shots and such cool cinematography, as well as, we have these tilted angles and, the very symmetrical shots of them when they're, in bed, and even these few POV shots as we're kind of like moving throughout the house. And, I love when they add in the creative element instead of just, setting up the shot and going for it. They take the extra time to think about it, and having these low angle shots, which are usually shown to put somebody in a position of power. Like if the camera is at a low angle, looking up at the character, it makes them look very strong and intimidating, instead of having an above angle shot, which makes them look, small and weak. And those are very deliberate decisions to be used creatively. And I definitely feel like the cinematographer and the director, those creative choices were made very well, and it just really added a creative element to this. I definitely thought Grace was going to end up unalived because her room was empty. Like, where was she? She was the one who was most unfamiliar with the house. So yeah, that was curious. And the fact that Eleanor kept saying like, well, she took my place, and maybe she meant that Grace was not alive and that Grace was the ghost at the house now, and that was supposed to be, Eleanor take over as ghost of the house. I don't know. Or maybe Eleanor was just very jealous of Grace, as she wanted to be with the doctor and didn't realize that he was married. And the two of them definitely seemed to be flirting a little bit. So yeah, I'm not sure where that was supposed to go. And I liked that we had, Luke as the skeptic. Maybe he was meant to portray more of what the audience was thinking, but If we had everybody else come from a supernatural background, I think it would have been too on the nose. It would have been too much of an easy sell. The fact that we needed a skeptic, we needed somebody to be questioning these things. Obviously, the Doctor is involved in supernatural things and believes it, and we know Eleanor and Theo have experience with supernatural. So even though they're still scared of it, they're understanding that this is real, or at least it's real to them, and that it's a possibility, you know, that ghosts could exist, whereas Luke is buying none of it. He's like, I don't want to step foot in this house. Like, he's only there because his aunt sends him there, basically, and wants someone to look after it so they don't wreck the house, and he's also going to inherit it, so he wants to make sure his investment is okay. But yeah, it was very interesting to have that component, as I feel like there would have been audience members. I don't know how this was received when it came out, but as with most ghost stories or horror movies, there's usually one skeptic in the crowd who's, you know, pointing out all the things that wouldn't be accurate or couldn't happen. So I feel like that was more of his character's role, is to play, you know, kind of an audience member. And like I said, he has the least involvement in this. Like, he wasn't invited. His only connection is through his aunt. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very spooky and so well done and so creepy, and I love the little subtle things that they do, like, is she holding hands with a ghost? Like, who's opening the door? You know, who's writing on the wall? Where are these sounds coming from? Again, you don't see any of this. There's no physical ghost. There's no apparition. It's all just let your imagination run wild, basically, and assume the worst. And having the history of the house explained as well was so good, and I definitely need to read the book, so yeah, let me know in the comments how accurate this is to the book. In the Netflix version, Luke and Theo and Eleanor were all brothers and sisters, so that was interesting that they came in this version, you know, as separate, and that the show made them related. Probably just easier to tell the story that way, I guess. But we know Eleanor has another sister that she lives with that obviously they don't get along very well. I love great cinematography, great performance by the actors, so well done. Yeah, let me know if there are any other versions of this that you think I should watch, or newer versions that I haven't seen yet. I love the set, you know, obviously the house is a character in this film, and, you know, the short timeline, the soundtrack, you know, even without there being a ton of music, when there was, it made you pay, you know, extra attention because, like, this is important, you know, focus on this, and the stairway scene, and, you know, so many instances where you think something is going to go wrong, and just the possibility of something creepy, I think, is what makes this terrifying, is that you're kind of already on edge. And this concept of the house being born bad, or being born, you know, having this, you know, figure of its own, and that it's alive, was very interesting. But thank you so much for sharing and this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for movies you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Oh my, the farmhand. What's she doing with that rope on the platter? Such a creepy concept that the house is alive. Yeah, that's the same sounds I heard the other night too. It's like banging sound. It should make it look like the house is moving almost. Now she's talking to the statue. What is she gonna do? She doesn't have a key to the gate.